And then we start the journey through the recording. So it's already telepathic. Even I don't know where we're going on this journey yet. I want it to be fun for me too, you know. I actually have to go on the journeys for the most part for the guided ones that like Al's going on that are every Saturday night for the different chapters, 38 of them in the Emerald Doorway book, because the last one was 6 pages long. I actually have to script it, and then I have to read it, what I already set up and created with beings and masterful teachers, because there's so much that goes on in the journeys that involve my reading from the book and going on journeys beyond the book, that it takes a structure to it. And I have to develop a new journey every single week until July. And I had to do this for the Sayers Agenda as well. So those are now scripted out so they can be applied to other people in the future if there's a need. Because those journeys are set for each single chapter, not only to reveal the hidden truth in them, but then to go way beyond what's in the book and go back to source and come back so that we can bring some energy that has no corruption, has not been compromised, has no negative nature to our conscious life on earth. So when you have a dream and remember it, it's not the body that's remembering the dream. It's you getting it through to the body so you can bring the awareness to earth. That's actually how it works. This is not taught to people on earth. They're taught, well, the imagination's in some part of the brain, and that's where you imagine from. It's theory. They have no idea where that is. None. Not a clue. Or they say, yeah, your brain dreams. You have alpha waves, and now you're dreaming. Your eyes are fluttering. But it's not the brain that's doing that. It's the Atma. And the person dreaming, even when they're tested, is not aware in this consciousness of what it is they're doing. This is the problem with people on earth. They're not conscious. They are unconscious. They are advanced beings that once knew this stuff that no longer can use it and don't remember. They're not new Atmas, new souls. They're ancient. It's ironic that people could be so ancient and have lived many lives far more advanced and much higher genetic bodies human than these are on Earth. And they've been made to forget all of it. That's what happens when you go to war 500,000 years ago with a bunch of tyrants who misuse technology. Duh. That's how it happened. This work that is on this planet but did not originate on this planet is the one doorway that is moving this energy into Earth right now. It doesn't make it superior or any ego trip about it. It's just a fact. It has to come through somewhere from something somewhere sometime. It can't come through anybody else on Earth because, frankly speaking, they're not aware enough to do it. They have no way to guide people to see what's in the Atma plane or the void or anywhere else. None of them. Because they aren't brought up this way. They don't know it. They once did. See, this work is designed to help get enough people awake to bring about a transformation for this planet. It's a numbers game. And it's not a very big number. It's about 150 million people out of 8 billion. And the whole world goes whoop. So it's really about bringing the Hue expansion ray into Earth's depleted atmosphere and charging it. Once that's done, people start waking up. They have high enough energy to, they can put their fears aside. They remember things, and this is how it's working. You guys, all of you, are doing this in advance of the rest of the people of this planet. And that means you're helping to have it happen. You're no longer part of the problem. You're part of the solution. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why does it make sense to you now when it couldn't a year ago? The answer is because that's how much you've recovered. Just simple knowing, just knowing stuff. The Atma doesn't think to know stuff. It doesn't look at data in a computer to know stuff. That's just data. Data is information, but it isn't knowing. The Atma is the knower. A body and brain and personality on earth is not the knower. It will never be the knower. But you can make it know more stuff. As its ego and all that body consciousness surrenders to you as you wake up, it becomes more enlightened. It becomes more conscious and more capable to be a vehicle for the you running the body on earth to make change. That's really how it works. I can tell people this in journeys, but if they're still looking at it as entertainment or information, they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it until they understand I'm not giving them information. I'm not spoon feeding them. I'm a vehicle for the hue expansion ray that moves through me, through you, to change consciousness. That's it. It's not about entertainment. Heck, I can go to the movies and see Avatar if I want entertainment. That's not going to help you wake up, by the way. Movie business, well, there's certain things, we won't get into debating this, but there are certain films that have come out, TV series that were pretty enlightening, like showing a person evolving into a higher being of light, leaving the body. This has been done in films. And a TV series or two over the years. All part of disclosure, by the way. A little bit here, a little bit there. This is why 80% of all the biggest budgeted, produced films in Hollywood, biggest budgets, most challenging to create, are about outer space. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Because people want to remember. They just don't know that yet. Star Trek, Star Wars, Close Encounters, E.T., Avatar, Dune, Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, Star Trek, the series, the movies. It's all about outer space, isn't it? Every bit of it. Why? That's a doorway for disclosure. And you ain't seen nothing yet in the film business of what its potential really is. What is also involved with most sophisticated films that you see? Full orchestrated Beethoven-type scores for each film to drive the emotion, right? Because without the music, films are flat.
Yeah.
It doesn't drive the story. And this is important because sound and light are two elements that are predominantly interwoven in feature films. We call it CGI, special effects, sound effects, and all that, motion capture. But the potential to show people who and what they are and wake them up on a journey in a single film is very great. You don't have to preach anything. You don't have to tell them about anything. You don't have to even mention the hue. They'll see it and experience it through the characters while they're in the journey of watching it. This has not been done before, but it's going to be done. So everything prepares for everything else. We're on the journey now. Where'd Margaret? Oh, she's still there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just getting a rug.
And we're in preparation. This is important because what I'm sharing with you is telepathic. It is a beam of white golden light with information on it, or experience really, not information. A knowing band of light as it moves through me and through you. And then it goes into Earth's atmosphere to begin to charge the atmosphere. This is what you're doing now. You might as well get used to it. Because being co-creatively proactive with Source is how you get liberated, how you liberate yourself. The Source should not be looked at as a savior. Because it's not a personification of an individual, which is what a savior would be. But it is the power that manifests whatever you imagine, good or bad. So when we begin to learn to imagine only that which is of benefit to all life, especially when we go into and above the void, then we're actually co-creating with others the way to liberate not just Earth, but the entire lower dimensions of time and space from the old failed experiment of good and evil. To get rid of it, it has to be replaced with something that only works one way. And imparts a wisdom as it works with you, so that when you are completely free again as an Atma, you will never be vulnerable to be trapped again. Ever. Permanent. one way. So with that in your foremost part of your front of your awareness, we can go on this journey. And of course, that means if you try to go on it with your eyes open, you're going to stay in the world. You're not going to go, because your body cannot go on the journey. It does not and cannot. You go on the journey. That means you too, Lee. You got to kick back, man, or you're not going to get nothing out of this. Relax, kick back, let your body go to sleep, man. You do it every night. You're masters at it. You guys know how to put a body to sleep. That's the problem. When you put the body to sleep, you go unconscious with it because you still think you're a body somehow. That has to change. That has to change permanently in you, in the life you have on earth, because then energies can flow into your pineal gland, into your body consciousness, that gives you the ability to see into the multiverse and know things, even in your life on earth. It's important. The first thing we want to do is imagine someone you respect and love and you're grateful they're in your life. It can be a person, place, or thing, but something that's genuine that just makes you smile inside when you visualize it. It could be a bird, a baby's smile, could be a hummingbird, could be a stars at night, an ocean, the humming sound of waves crashing on a beach, anything. Anything that gives you a perspective that has no negative nature. Because when you're doing that in the hue, you're turning off all negative programs. You're getting help from a male and female from the Galactic Alliance to do this as well, because that goes deeper than your ability on Earth. This also has to do with turning off such things in your astral, causal, mental, and etheric bodies you're running that you don't remember. Because they can block experiences of you bringing back things to Earth if they're not helpful. So you see, they're compelled to be helpful, whether they like it or not. The hue expansion ray works only one way. It does not allow people to misuse free will like they've been allowed for all this time. Look where it's got us. Into nothing but trouble. So then we're going to put out the hue 5 times, 6. We'll do 6. We want to go above the void. So there are beings waiting to go with us on this journey who volunteer to do this work. They are not from Earth. They don't live on Earth. They don't have bodies on Earth. They weren't born on Earth. They weren't trapped on Earth, and they don't have subconscious minds. These are the beings that we go on these journeys with. They are in the best position to help us recover what they know. We rub shoulders with them. That is what we're doing. Not as brains and bodies and personalities on Earth. No, that body goes into the trance state called sleep. You all know how to do that as easy as breathing. You do it every night. So when you imagine going to the store, you're taught on Earth that your brain is somehow imagining that because you think you're a brain, or the soul is the brain, or what's in your skull. It is not. That's like the engine of a car. But it's not the person who gets in the car and runs it. So really, when you see the store and you get your body up and get in the car and drive to the store, it's the Atma that sees this. It's the Atma that sees locations throughout the multiverse. When it remembers them, what does the Atma plane look like? What does the shore on Satnam's Rome look like? What does the U Expansion Ray Academy look like that wasn't even there 12 years ago or at a time? That place was built in a realm where there's no time and space. No such limits exist there. This is our native territory. This is where we come from. This is where we came from. And if you can't remember how to see it, the hue expansion ray, the omnipresent spirit, cannot take you there. You can pray till you drop dead. It won't take you there until you're awake enough to visualize where you want to go in it, and then it will take you there. This is the way it works. So it's vitally important that we remember at least enough to know what these places look like help build them, help contribute to them and to ourselves. Because then as you wake up your ability to remember, hey, what does Telemedia look like? What does Zetronomy 1 nearer to the galactic core look like? The headquarters world of the entire Galactic Alliance. What's it look like? You once all knew that well. So when these journeys are done and I'm telepathically sharing this holographic experience with you, you begin to see and know things you've long forgotten. And then, with a little effort, you can go back to them yourself because you know what to look like, where to go, and then the lethargy, the resistance in people to actually get off their butts and go back to where I guide you is very strong, as you all know on this planet. Because people are encouraged to be saved or to let go of this work they should be doing to some other being. And then when they do that, they stop growing. They're no longer evolving. They don't think they have to be responsible for it anymore. This is not true. The way the upper realities work above the void, what people would think of as the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, other heavens, would not accept beings like people are on earth the way they are. They're irresponsible, childish, hypocritical, sadistic, and all these negative things, and they think they're God's chosen in any religion. This is not true. They're not disfavored. They're not really being punished, except they're punishing themselves by imagining good and bad things simultaneously. It cuts off their flow of energy from the you, grounds it to the earth, and they get stuck here. This is what is being reversed. All of this wrong thinking. It's not to change anybody's religion or demean anybody or their beliefs. It's to help them wake up within it so they can help change this world. That is what the hue from source, the first sound behind creation, is doing now. It does not care what someone believes on earth or not. It only cares that they wake up and become responsible spiritual adults that can co-create with the source. This is what it's about now. It will never go back to the way it was. The old failed experiment of good and evil is coming to an end. And it's not an Armageddon. That's just negative thinking. So let's do the hues, 5 of them. Do them with me. I'll do them out loud. I'm going to shut off your mics from here. If you aren't off yet, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And you'll only hear my voice. When I send it out with my vocal cords, understand that I'm already out in space waiting for you. I'm running this body long distance. It's not even that long. It's just out in space, just to Earth. That's nothing. No big deal. So you'll hear this, but it's being telepathically sent to you. Like a hologram. Sound, taste, touch, smell, hearing, sight, light, everything. And this is being communicated to the awakening Atma, because right now there is a man and a woman hovering beside you, and you're up near the ceiling where you live. You're always out of your body looking at it. You just don't remember. And they're hovering beside each of you. They are all 3 spheres, spherical beings, running bodies that look to be about 36 years of age. If you're a male, it's perfectly handsome. If you're a female, it's perfectly beautiful. These are not molecular DNA bodies. They're projection from the white core of the Atma. It's how we show ourselves to each other. It's a prototype, human type form. And that goes back billions of years, not millions. So I'll send it out. When you do this inside silently, your tones will be perfect because you're not using your vocal cords. You don't have to be trained singers. I'll begin those tones now. You. You. That hue on different vibratory levels matches the astral, causal, mental, etheric void. It puts us at least into the void. We help to co-create the brightness of the light that surrounds and flows through the hourglass-shaped vortex between the top of space outside of Earth and the upper realities above the void and through the void. Satnam and others, it's easy. Terrellian, they create the void. I create it with them. That's no problem. This vortex. Not the void, but the vortex. And then when you do the hue, you're making a connection through that open vortex of the hue, straight to source. You're going to discover that this is a natural faculty and ability of an awakened Atma. You're always connected to source, but people on Earth are completely unconscious of it. They're terrified of it, afraid of it. If you put a supreme being on a pedestal and worship it, you're pushing it away so far you'll never reach it. So we have to go to where that is and be in telepathic union with it and then come back, because this is how we receive the blessings or the gifts of Source to change. It does this with us when it recognizes we are, I don't want to say worthy, but capable of keeping what it provides. Otherwise, it doesn't do it. Master teachers provide little bits of boosting us over hurdles we can't get over on our own for one reason or another. But they only do that when they know you'll keep what is given and move on. It is the way they work. They don't work like people on Earth think they do. They're practical. They work with the one primary law of discrimination, or right discrimination. Meaning they take actions that they know will be productive, or they do not take them at all, ever. They don't work in dual energies of the lower worlds, positive and negative, good and bad, up and down. That is people on Earth stuck that way. It's not the way they are. When you're near the ceiling, there is a man and a woman dressed like Shantiel and Tonalty and Dantium and Lamtium, and there's many more, from the Galactic Alliance. To go where we're going, they have to leave their physical bodies on a ship stationed in our solar system and then go with us. They can't take their ships up into the astral plane even. They can go through 144 parallel dimensions of 144 Earths and then get to the barrier like an aurora borealis between the top of the physical and the beginning of the astral plane. But ships don't cross that barrier. They're made of a different matter. They can't. The only beings that had spacecraft long ago that could cross the barrier and explore the 140 dimensions, parallel dimensions of the astral plane, and the same in the physical, were the Say rays. They were human. Billions of years ago, they were human. Before there were even 2-stranded or 4-stranded or 8-stranded human bodies. They were already there. 12-stranded. Can you imagine? What would a 12-stranded body, what would an Atma be capable of doing through a 12-stranded DNA body with all the genomes turned on? All the faculties working through points of light through the body. This is what you need to be aware of. This is what you need to remember. How an Atma works. In my heart of hearts, I wish I could do this for one journey and the entire planet televised, and they're all changed instantly. So I never have to do it again. That would be the law of economy. Making the best of what you have in the most useful way with the least necessary waste, or no waste. We're not there yet. It doesn't even have to be done through me. I don't really care. It's just so it's done. You're near the ceiling, looking down at your body. Same way you look at going to the grocery store. You can see which store you want to go to, right? You visualize it. But you're not really making it up in your brain. The Atma is actually seeing it. It's the Atma that has the memory, not your brain. What's memorized in the brain cells is just how to run your body, all the coordination and mechanics and breathing and heart rate. You have a body genetic memory, but that's tinker toys. That's only what you've got in this life. And that's stored in the Atma as well as in the brain, that little patterns of things. Those patterns do not set a person free. They're limited to the physical body. So we put the body to sleep safely, breathes, heart works, everything's fine. And you run it like you always do every night when you get out of it every single night, because you do, whether you know it or not, every single night. Babies are mostly out of their bodies. That's why they're vacant. Not much there at home. The brain isn't developed when they're first born yet. It's still got a lot of development to do because genomes on the DNA have been shut down on human babies and bodies and passed on generationally. They don't work like they should. On other worlds, beings' bodies are grown to an adult level in 6 months. They don't wait 20 years. That's an Earth thing. Talk about what people on Earth need to become aware of, man. It's so dynamically, fantastically huge what they need to know that they don't know and are afraid to know that they once knew. So beings that look like Shantiel and Tonatiel and Dantium and Lamtium, there are many names, human, humanoid-like, well-dressed, there's an Atma hovering to each side of you. It's running this form they're projecting, just like you're projecting a body about 36 you show them. They are keeping all of your fears of the present and future and any subconscious problems turned off for this journey. They can't just liberate you from those problems and do it for you, or you'd learn nothing and get right back into the same trap you're in. So we have to work our way out of this together with their assistance. They don't just wave a magic wand and set someone free, because they know the person would trap themselves with their fears again overnight. It won't work. There's a white golden light, like microscopic tiny golden teardrops flowing down through the ceiling, right through all three of you and the forms you're projecting. And then it's flowing down and through the electromagnetic field, the aura, which is a big spherical structure around the physical body. The engrams and implants and subconscious fears and all that are turned off. So it flows out through that energy field and through the walls of your home into Earth's atmosphere. The whole time we're on this journey, that is what it's doing. It only moves one way. It does not stop because of our will or our attempt to possess it or put our grasp our hand around it, or anything, because you can't. It's an omnipresent living power. We don't control it. It doesn't stop us from doing what we want. It doesn't dominate us like a tyrant. We do that to ourselves. It's just the living power that supports everything. If we continue to create opposing things that trap us with half power, half thrusters in Earth's atmosphere, that's our doing, not the source. It's a cop-out for people to blame the devil or some negative being for all of their ills. You know, like the devil made me do it. No, it didn't. That's not what made anybody get stuck on Earth. Tyrants are involved, that's true, but the problem is, why were we vulnerable in the first place? There's a flash of brighter light, and you find yourself in outer space, high above the Earth, in that, well, in a Hubble Space Telescope image, you would see it as a black background or dark blue, that vast void of space in which little galaxies float. They're not floating in an empty vacuum. They're floating in and on another energy. 0-point energy, the energy of the universe, does not run on the laws of physics that matter and DNA and molecules and atoms run on. It is the energy that is the majority of the energy in all of creation, even in space, vastly greater than the little galaxies that float in it. And nobody gets it on Earth. They don't understand. That energy cannot be utilized like you would play with a rocket engine or a computer. It cannot be programmed. You cannot dump your garbage into it. You can't take negative thoughts into it. You throw it out there, they're thrown right back in your face. That does not accept positive and negative streams of energy from the lower worlds. The big energy that supports all those galaxies does not work that way. More advanced races have worked out how to work with it respectfully, because it does not work in the limits that man makes on Earth, like the limit of the speed of light. There is no such limit. Light from other galaxies does not take billions of years to get here. That's self-imposed entrapping thinking people have done to themselves on Earth to limit making contact with beings beyond Earth, because then they would have to think they're inferior, or they would have to admit they're not God's focus of all the goody two-shoes of people are just on Earth and nowhere else. This is not true at all. People on Earth that are unconscious are just as important as master teachers or anybody else. They're from the source. They can't be destroyed. They can lose bodies all day long, but they can't be destroyed. So we want to wake up what we really are and then run bodies. Now that makes more sense, because that's the correct way to do it. You're in a circle of beings around Ambassador Trellian. Why him? Because him is way more advanced than you can possibly comprehend than a human being on Earth. He's more advanced than the Galactic Alliance personnel. He's more advanced than most master teachers that are out in the universe and never stepped foot on Earth. And yet, originally he was human, running a human body, 12-stranded, 18 feet tall in his case. The saviors are 18 to 25 feet tall. They evolved out in the universe and other galaxies, not in ours. They were responsible for developing human, humanoid, and other races, whether they're bird-type bipedal people or Pashat lion-type people, or human, humanoid, and other races, blue-skinned Oceanian, or any of it. They helped develop those genetic structures to the point where an Atma could run them consciously. And their job was originally to make the lower worlds mirrors of the upper realities. Of course, we all failed in that. Not because we're bad, because it was an experience we went into blind, without knowing what the repercussions would be. And then it backfired on many people over billions of years until they couldn't remember how to get anywhere, much less back home. Fear is only existing when a person indulges in one half of two currents. They're really one current connected between two poles, positive and negative. If the positive and negative streams flow inside your being, which they shouldn't, then you're compelled to think one way one moment, another way another moment. It splits the consciousness in half. And then we're in trouble. Because once that's done, you cannot access your higher faculties, because the higher faculties of the Atma do not work with the lower energies of time and space at all. They support such things, but they are not in such things. So what we're doing is pulling ourselves out of dry dock. We're pulling ourselves out of the illusion that we've ever been a body or ever even... No one running a body has ever been a body, ever. And they've had billions of them. You have. No big deal running a body. And the old Atma can come along and do that. But being an awakened Atma that is trustworthy and a co-creator with Source, now that's a different matter altogether. Up above us, in this circle of beings around us, we see Raw Pelham to my right, Margaret's to my left, and Owl's on the other side of the circle, and he's got some master teachers between him, and Lee is further beside, actually, to the right side of Master Ramu, near Earth. You just see this stuff. Turelian's showing us his 18-foot tall body because it's human. Long, blonde, slightly wavy hair to shoulders, big blue eyes, slightly pointed ears like an elf, single gown down to his bare feet, holding his closed fist with thumbs up with a brighter golden white light of the hue around it, white golden, compared to the white golden light of this omnipresent space that surrounds all the stars and galaxies. Out here we see it for what it is. It is not dark blue or black. Two-stranded human DNA eyes cannot see into high enough frequency to see this light. My cat can see it, and you can't. They don't take it for anything other than it's just normal for them. They see this stuff. They don't know what it is. But this is the problem with human two-stranded DNA bodies, and the fact, more importantly, that certain genomes on your DNA has been shut off, turned off, not working. Makes it tough. Then people try to make the body consciousness fix all that, and they fail because the body consciousness can't fix itself. There's automatic systems that can heal this or that, but as far as subconscious programming, it has nothing to do with the body, and what you remember has nothing to do with the healing systems in the body. They're very limited. The Atma, however, is not limited. This is important to know this. Up above Turelian is Eta and Din. They are not human, they are Drens. They are silica-based life forms, not carbon. They come from planet Oceania, which is where Master Pelham comes from, who's standing off to my right. I'm further out in the circle of beings. Not quite opposite Master Ramu. Pelham's opposite him. Above these beings is a spherical, radiant Atma. It's above the body form you show each other. It's above Eta and Din. It's above Turelian. And above him is Master Light C. To each side of you is a sphere hovering. And all three of you are showing each other this body form that looks flawless, about 36, all in a position in a circle around Turelian. Turelian is there because he's capable of being there. He does not have the burden of a body in the astral, causal, mental, and etheric. He doesn't even have those bodies, nor does he need them. That was done away, resolved, finished a long time ago for him. The Seres immortalized their bodies 1 billion years ago, and not on Earth, by simply storing the 12-stranded DNA pattern in a teardrop near the golden layer outside the white core of their being, and they just dissolved their bodies away. They became who they always are, and only that. So when he makes up a body, he shows us you could walk up and touch it. It's mocked up. It's made out of the Hue expansion ray. They have access to it. They'll mock it up, carry out a mission like he's doing now, and when he's done, he'll put it away. He doesn't have to push it around. It doesn't age. It doesn't have to eat. It doesn't go to the bathroom. See, he's just the Atma. Satnam is like that. Light C has one physical type body in the etheric plane, just below the void. None in the lower worlds. He's a very advanced master teacher, like Ramu and Pelham. Eta and Din are master teachers, fairly new as master teachers, but they are. And up above Light C is Satnam, standing in space. White gown on from his waist to his bare ankles and feet. Bare-chested, strongly built, ripped you might say. 2 gold bracelets on each of his upper arms. Bald, bronze-skinned, flawless, smooth, ageless, gold eyes, not yellow. And above him a radiant, larger Atma than us. white golden light predominating through it. It has all the layers of color as well. And then to each side of them are two couples, alternating male, female, male, female, to each side of Satnam. They are silent mentors. They don't normally rub shoulders with anybody running bodies in the lower worlds. That's not their gig. Their gig is to maintain the creation, like the mechanics. Keep the doorways running, keep the portals working, keep the universes spinning, moons going around planets, planets around sun. That's what they do for all the dimensions. And they work 24/7. They never get tired. They never get fatigued. They don't have physical bodies. They don't sleep. They don't eat. Nor do you as an Atma. They're there to escort us to the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. That they've decided to appear on these journeys up near Satnam is one thing. But I know from past history they never worked one-on-one with individuals like a master teacher might. That's not their gig. They're too far advanced for people on Earth to even comprehend, much less try to work with them one-on-one. No, we have to go to where they are operating above the lower worlds, above Satnam's realm in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, to one of their training facilities and rub shoulders with their energy there. So we go where we have to go in order to bring back energy we cannot get in Earth's atmosphere because it's depleted. Not enough so everything dies. It still comes in through the planet's atmosphere from space, from the human space. But it should be concentrated in the oceans, in the H2O stored in it. H2O is made of two gases, the first two atoms. Hydrogen, oxygen. Put together, they got water? What? How does that happen? So you can store massive amounts of energy on 5-dimensional levels in water. Bet you didn't really know that or remember it. And it's a telepathic medium to be able to communicate with beings in other worlds, if it's charged. Certain shamans can use their own energy to go through water to communicate to where they came from a world before they were brought here as Indian tribes, certain ones. No, they don't talk about it openly. People would string them up or put them in a laboratory. They just did. It doesn't work on a planet like Earth to be open, to be free and demonstrate it for others. It's like a bunch of people with fear with shotguns pointed at you. You turn on a light bulb so they can see you. This is why you don't have beings from other worlds walking around streets openly, because people are nuts on Earth. They're lunatics. They are not normal. And they react violently with fear to almost every situation. This has to first be mastered or taken care of before a transformation to this world can come about. This is what this work is beginning to implement. There's a white golden light pouring down through that vortex, hourglass shaped, quite huge. Thousands of feet apart, the bottom opening. White golden light turning clockwise. A blue-green luminous light is moving slower clockwise around it that looks like water, but it isn't. And up at the other end of this vortex, you can see what's a brilliant, but I call a pale blue cobalt light. That is a space of the void above the etheric plane. We're bypassing those lower planes to go to where there is no negative nature, which is our native territory. Before we do this, you must understand that there is no negative nature in your being. Never has been, never will be. Nothing of a negative and positive nature, no program, no lifetime, nothing negative can be stored in the Atma. only images of lives, perhaps, but no negative and positive emotions or anything like that. That's all in the electromagnetic field, this aura that surrounds the Atma, running a body on Earth that also surrounds the body on Earth. It looks like a electromagnetic field, like the one you can search online. It comes out the South Pole, like a big donut shape, goes in the North Pole, surrounds the outside of the planet Earth. It's exactly the same way that field looks around each being, you, and each body. The aura is not a thin layer of colors near the surface of your skin, as people on Earth think. It's much bigger than that. And it's through subconsciously implanted images of fear that people look at the universe and back away or go in a different mindless entertainment direction because they're afraid to look where they think they'll be killed or eaten again. It's just as simple as that. Or they're afraid they'll find something or some higher power and they'll accidentally blow up a world again like they did 5 billion years ago. This is the problem with inexperience. People trap themselves with godly powers through inexperience. I don't blame them. They just happened. But this has to be corrected. There's a white golden light flowing down through like a tiny teardrops raining down through this opening. It's flowing down through Sat Nam, the silent mentor couples, which you know they have a single different colored gown on, bare feet, long hair to their shoulders, all different colors, white face of light, no facial features. And when you gaze into them, even at a distance, you can see galaxies upon galaxies upon galaxies upon levels of brighter galaxies, because that's how they think. Above them is hovering an Atma 4 times bigger than us, twice as many teardrop-shaped faculties, radiant with golden white light. And this is who they are. Turelians closed fists with thumbs up are there because the foot-thick white golden light around them that's brighter than the hue in space has created an oval hull of transparent light like the hull of a spaceship around us to keep us focused, to go on this journey together. And he points upward with one thumb, and we are shot upward into this vortex, following Sat Nam and the silent mentors, who are beamed in a beam of light straight up the vortex. You don't see their forms they show us anymore. They're just spherical Atmas moving up through this tunnel. And we're spherical Atmas surrounding Turelian, moving up through the tunnel after them. We come out the other end and we are in this unimaginably huge space of a pale blue cobalt light everywhere, brighter than anything in the lower dimensions. But there's nothing here. There actually is, but you can't see it. This is why they call it the void. People say, oh, that must be the realm of the Supreme Being then, because there's no thing in it. Well, that's true. It is the pure hue, but it's a barrier put there between the upper realities, the upper heavens, and the lower worlds of time and space, deliberately put there to keep anything or anyone from going into the void with any negative nature whatsoever. So that negative nature in you, subconscious or otherwise, is turned off with your sleeping bodies. Not just your physical earth body, your astral body, where all emotion comes from that you get in a mature body on earth, doesn't come from the lifetime you grew up in. It's much deeper than that. The causal body above it and the mental body above that, where all of your thought and wisdom and thinking and imagination originates, the ability to see, is actually beyond the mental plane. And then there's the etheric plane. Now, it's a transparent human-like body, like you see in some of these celestial images artists have come up with. You know, with energy centers and everything's transparent. It has very little negativity mixed with the pure positive of the upper worlds from the void. But there is some. So we're bypassing those because those bodies right now were also put into the trance state called sleep at the same moment your body on earth was. Because if they don't go to sleep so the Atma can be free of them for this time period, they will interfere with you bringing back anything to earth. They can't help themselves. They just don't cooperate. So one of the things we're doing on the return journey is stopping off in each one of those planes to get Satnam and Lemriel kicking their asses, so to speak, to wake them up, looking up into the void to the higher worlds and looking down from the etheric to the mental, and the mental looking up, everyone waking up and looking at each other and being aware of each other until you look down from the astral and see your body in the trance state called sleep back on earth. We're going to bring this energy from the hue expansion ray and higher back to your consciousness on earth to affect your dream state, to help you remember more of what you do when you're out of your body. As long as you remember that when you remember a dream, it's not your brain that had the dream. Don't make that mistake. It's you. And it's endeavoring to bring the memory of it into your physical consciousness that you grew up with on earth that had no training, no experience whatsoever about any of this growing up on earth. The hue, the sound of this omnipresent power is humming around us. You can't even describe it like an electrical hum or the hum of a billion bees or the high note of a flute or music. It's all those things. And we're moving upward at tremendous speed in this oval of transparent golden white light that Turelians produced. Way in the distance up ahead we see Satnam dwindle to a point with the silent menders and disappear. The next thing you know, we're hovering above the other end of the void. We're hovering above a white diamond-like glowing beach, glowing a foot above the sand. It goes as far as you can see left and right and curves on itself because that beach circles a huge, massive landmass. It's floating in a cobalt blue light, brighter than the void below it. It's a single landmass floating in this cobalt blue space. The jungle trees at the back of this beach are gigantic. They represent every tree on Earth and many not known on Earth. They have transparent trunks with golden white light running them down the trunks and glowing leaves and needles and you name it. Satnam you see down on the beach standing, wiggling his toes in the sand. The spherical Atma hovering above this form, which is not made of the lower bodies, but it's the form he chooses to show us. You know, 2 gold bracelets on his upper arms, the white tunic dress from his waist to his ankles, bronze skin, bald head, golden eyes, not yellow. And he lifts his hand and one little spherical crystal, diamond-like, it's actually like a diamond radiating light in every direction. It's charged with the hue. It's not silica like in the lower worlds. It's not water. And one of those particles, he just moves his hand and one goes into the white core of each of the Atma you are, makes it brighter, and then sends a little brighter energy down into the pure body form you show each other. And then it sends it all the way back to Earth. Stay here. Do not go back to the body on Earth. It comes down through the ceiling to the pineal gland and moves out through your body, through the walls, on its way to benefit others. This is how it works. And then we're above the jungle trees, and these birds come out of the branches. They're brilliant, about a foot long. Twin sets of bird wings, one above the other. Long V-shaped split tails like a swallow. Like a blue jay in a way. Big bulbous blue eyes. And one of them hovers, one male, one female, hovers to each side of you. Each side of the Atma you are. Because above them you see an Atma 4 times bigger than us, running these supposed bird bodies. They are silent mentors. And they open their beaks and begin to sing with vocal cords like human men and women voices, with perfect sound. And they're sending out the hue that you see weave together in intricate patterns, like a grid work. And it fills the void. It is creating and sustaining the void. Beings do that, not machines. And you see Satnam moving in over the tops of the trees, and we go with him in our little oval, transparent, golden white light that Turelian's continuously creating. We see in the distance a diagonal from upper left to lower right, a blue snow-capped mountain range. And we're moving over the top of the jungle trees and look down and we see a clearing 100 feet wide, white stone circular floor, a fountain, white alabaster stone, scalloped edged, with a statue of Satnam standing in it, and a white golden shaft of light coming down into it. It's pouring through his open palms at his sides, facing forward, filling this bowl, radiates over the edge, drops down in between a curved, it's a round donut-shaped flat white stone sitting seat with 12 scrolled legs. There's a golden cup on a golden hook, 12 of them. Now you can come here and sit on that seat and have a cup lift itself up and go into this fountain and pour it down your throat, which isn't the physical body. That goes into the Atma, charging it. But that's not how we're going up to the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, not this time. You look at that mountain range at the base, off in the distance over this vast land. And then you begin to see these foot-thick golden quartz type steps leading up to a palatial estate, huge along the base of the mountain. And two big blue lapis lazuli stone-like gold-laced stone pillars holding up a kind of a square, like a pyramidal-shaped golden-sided roof with a quartz crown. And at the base of it, underneath it, is a blue quartz-like transparent chair, like a throne chair. Smooth, polished edges, no cushions. There's a white golden shaft of light coming down into it. And it's ending up going through the ground and down into the void and down to the lower worlds. Now this is Satnam's particular device, but I've never seen him sit in it. It's not like that. And behind it is a 15-foot high golden-sided triangular opening to the base of the mountain behind it. There is a massive, much bigger fountain, like 30 feet across, blue scalloped edges. It's not a statue of Satnam. It's like a massive blue-green fir tree of light moving up and down in the shape of a fir tree with needles. And a white shaft of golden light like a cylinder coming down over it. Turelian is taking us right up into that tree, into the trunk of the tree, which is transparent. And as we pass by the needles, we realize that each needle is connected to places in the lower dimensions of time and space. And each needle is connected to that massive tree, a massive tree that is inside the hollowed out pyramid up in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, where Lightsea is its custodian and caretaker and teacher. And those needles are connected to a bigger tree in Agam Purusha's realm, in that fiery realm. So they're all connected, these things. And we are darting upward through this tree, up the shaft of light. When we come out the other end, we're in an even much brighter cobalt blue space. This is the space that surrounds the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. This is a parallel dimension created specifically between the top of Satnam's realm, the first realm above the void, and the sixth realm. There is a Purusha, or ruler, or governor of that plane as well. And then it goes up through many more until you get to Agam Purusha's realm. Then it goes up to the source or prime creator. Then it goes up to the realm of the silent mentors. And then it goes up to the new realm created called the Hue Expansion Ray plane. That was not there before either. Creation is changing. For the first time in hundreds of billions of years, in terms of Earth terms. And we're moving into the distance, way off in this huge cobalt blue brightness. No suns, no planets, no stars. They're not necessary here. Everything is luminous here, including each one of us. Don't need suns and planets and stuff like that. There's no molecules or atoms here. It's pure source energy, taking on different forms that is maintained and supported by beings. In the distance, you can see we're approaching a huge, monstrously huge circular landmass. There's a white diamond beach surrounding it, much brighter than the one in Satnam's realm just below here. And there's a blue-green wave perfectly formed, curling and breaking continuously. On the left side of that beach, it's circling the outer circumference of this landmass. It continues around it and comes back to where it started, and it continuously runs. It's what silent mentors use to maintain this place, so it floats in this greater blue cobalt light of the hue, as it's known here. The sound is like, it's men and women's voices, it's the hue, it's the sound of a flute playing a hauntingly beautiful melody. It's everywhere around us and through us. And then we dart clear over the shoreline and stop long enough for Turellian. He doesn't even have to move. You'll see one of these grains of this diamond-like sand, perfectly transparent, duplicate itself above the sand, and then it's shot into your being, into the white core of your being, brightening it, slightly altering the pure form you show each other. And then that's connected to your body asleep on earth. And then out through the walls of your home, for your benefit, yes, but for the benefit of others as well, because this is our nature. And then we come over this countryside that has mountain ranges and vast plains and orchards and prairies and every kind of animal and being and represented here. And beings here are swapping body forms to learn to respect all life. An eagle will swap with a human. The human will swap with the eagle. And they work with each other and they understand how each thinks and feels. These are intelligent beings. They're Atmas above all these forms. This is one of the secrets of the Atma plane. It would take us forever to explore a small fraction of this on these journeys. So just know that they're there. And then in the distance, way in the distance, you see 6 snow-capped bluestone mountain range in a circle. As we approach it high above, we look down and we realize down in the base of between these 6 mountains is a donut-shaped or round, calm, blue-green glowing lake that surrounds a white disc-shaped island. And the outer circumference of that island has a blue glass-like tower coming up out of it, tapering to an oval administration area with a fountain in it, blue scalloped edge, no Satnam statue, up to a minaret point that's as high as the tops of the mountain peaks that surround it. Down inside the base of that tower, in the center of this white stone floor, is a 4-foot-high vertical lapis lazuli-like stone. It's transparent, polished sides, and above it a 4-foot diameter crystal glass-like blue sphere with a cobalt blue star radiating the center of it. The shaft of light coming down on the tower is going through this star and down inside the hollowed-out interior of the U Expansion Ray Academy. There is a silent mentor training facility in there. We've been there before. 12 big weeping willow type trees in the outer circumference of this hollowed out sphere, shaft of white light in the middle of it. Silent mentors standing, 12 of them alternating male and female along the top of the trees. Big Atma hovering above them. When you look in the face of the forms they show us, you see levels of the dimensions of reality. One upon the other. They think like this. So when we're in the middle of that, and say Turellian, myself, and others are in the middle of the shaft of light, the light comes from source through us, through you, through the silent mentors one way, then it goes the other way. This is how they rub off on us. How we change, nobody knows, except that it has to do with becoming part silent mentor and part master teacher. A new order of beings is being created. That's as much as I can tell you about that right now. Then we're high above the tower looking way out over the countryside, and you see at the base of these 6 mountains horseshoe-shaped golden tunnels of light. Out of them comes a white stone roadway as straight as an arrow. It goes out as straight as an arrow to the beach. There are hundreds of them, like the spokes coming from the hub of a bicycle. And down each one, left and right, every so often is a clearing with a training facility. We are directed to look towards the northeast, north, south, east, west. We're going into that 1/4 of a pie. We're going over to the northeast quadrant, down the central road that divides that quadrant in half, 2/3 of the way down it, and then we're turning left into a clearing. We stop to look at what's there. There are giant white oak trees on a white stone floor, circling the outer circumference. These are massive white oaks, transparent trunks. There are 12 silent mentors here. It's one of many. This is where we can rub shoulders with them, not on planet Earth, not in the Milky Way galaxy. They have business there to keep it all running. They don't mix it up with us. They don't have time for silly nonsense with silly beings. But here, when we come here with no lower body forms, we can rub shoulders with them. Above these white oak trees, they're standing a male and female alternating. Each one has a different gown on. Each one has a different pastel color of the spectrum of light. Long hair to their shoulders, different colored hair, different skin colors, all part of the spectrum of light. And the big Atma, 4 times bigger than us, hovering above it. That's the real silent mentor. In the middle is a shaft of white golden light. Turelian is hovering with his thumbs up right inside it. I'm right beside him. Sat Nam is to his other side. You're all sitting in a white leather chair that just appears there. Your form that is pure, that looks flawless, is sitting in this chair, comfortable white leather-like chair, between the shaft of light and the outer circle of trees, like giant white oaks. And you're facing these silent mentors away from Turelian. You're hovering above this form like you hover above the one on Earth. You can see a individual shaft of white golden light coming down into each silent mentor. There's been central one down the center of this shaft in the center of this stone floor where Turelian, I, and Sat Nam are. And the energy coming down each silent mentor is being moved through, split off in beams so that male and female, they're moved through, right through the body sitting in that chair, up to the white core of your being. Then to the white core of the being that is Sat Nam, Turelian, myself, and up the shaft of light all the way to source. And then the same energy reverses itself and comes down through us, through all of you, up these trees. Each leaf on each branch of this oak tree represents some place in creation. Silent mentors use this for a purpose this way. They can see like a holographic image in each leaf and see what's going on in that dimension from here. And it goes up them, the forms they show us, and up through the beings they are. And then it's beamed, all 12 of them, into one shaft of light, joins with the shaft of light above Turelian, and connects to source. There's a flash of white golden light, And we find ourselves hovering high above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy now, outside of the central beam, coming down into the tower between the 6 snow-covered bluestone mountains. We can see out on the distance offshore in this cobalt blue light that looks like ocean, but it isn't. 12 of these domes, clear, covering White Island, just fits the circumference of the bottom of the dome, hovering in this calm ocean of light, surrounding the outer circumference of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. Each one has 3 golden pyramids with a quartz crown, surrounding a big scalloped blue fountain with a tree like a fir tree of light. Each one is inside this dome. 12 training facilities offshore from the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. There is academy like this one with the giant white oaks in each quadrant. Down the central road in each quadrant, 2/3 of the way towards the beach with a turn to the right. In the northwestern one, we have those giant weeping willow type trees with broad spoon-shaped blue leaves. In the southeast, we have giant eucalyptus trees. And in the southwest, giant redwoods. And in the southwest, there is a fountain with a crystal headset floating above it. Put that on and you're beamed right to the source, to be aware of the source. To the headset, through the form you have that's perfect, from the Atma you are, and then down to your life in the etheric, mental, causal, astral, and the physical. But that only works if those bodies are aware of each other. Otherwise, they just unconsciously block it. Now you get a bigger perspective of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy layout. And you have some experience flowing through you of mixing it up with silent mentors and master teachers. And then you see this hourglass-shaped vortex. It's still here, high in the cobalt blue space above the academy. And bingo zingo, Turellian beams us all up that shaft. We go way up inside it and come out the other end, many dimensions above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. We are in a fiery realm, orange and yellow and red and green and blue and violet, moving, whirling around us like gargoyles appearing in weird shapes. It's the raw power of eternity. And there's one being that approaches us, a massive spherical being, pure white light tinged with gold, and layers of teardrop. It's hard to describe. This is Agam Purusha. This is a being who runs or regulates the raw power of eternity from the ocean of sound and light where we're headed, and generates it down, portion here, a portion there, down and through these devices, down through the planes, down to the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, down through Satnam's realm, through the void, through all the planes, even to Earth. And he approaches us. It's still in a circle around Ambassador Turellian, Master Teacher Ambassador Turellian, I should say. And he speaks to us telepathically, and this is what he's beginning to say to you. Here you have arrived in the raw plane of power of eternity. Here it is regulated and generated downward to support the entire multidimensional creation. Silent mentors and this being work together in this regard. In the distance in this fiery light, you see what begins to appear, a massive, gigantic, golden silver tree with luminous green needles and a transparent golden white trunk of energy running up and down inside it. This is the tree of life, and it is connected to the trunk of the tree with needles that exists in the pyramid where Light C works, which is just out the western roadway of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. First turn to the right, it's a big golden-sided quartz cap pyramid, and inside it, rooted into this golden floor, is this one tree. The trunk is transparent. These two trees are connected. We are being given permission by Agam Purusha to enter this tree of life and be transported into a much brighter cobalt space of blue light that is called source or prime creator. And we're shot through it and up the other end in an instant. When we come out, we're looking now in an even more vast space, much brighter. And in the distance far off is not the circular landmass of the U Expansion Ray Academy, which it is based on, by the way. It is a single, silvery golden galaxy turning on its axis. Big white hub in the center, like a galaxy. It looks like stars are orbiting the center like they would around the Milky Way galaxy. All galaxies get their form from this prototype. Remember this. Remember this. Remember this. When we're moved between the outer layers of these beings, we recognize there's vast space between them, like two stars in space. These are massive spherical beings. These are Atmas, not stars. And then we're passing between them. Then we're shot to the very center. And inside the hollowed out 1/3 of this massive form is a white disc-shaped stone island. Hovering above it is a gigantic spherical presence. Thousands of layers of color that you can't even see in the lower worlds. Teardrop faculties representing everything in creation. Massive golden light around the outer edge of its violet exterior. And in the center, a white golden light core, actually white light. And we are projected between these faculties in each layer, which also have the distance between them like two stars in space. And then we realize we're suddenly inside the center of this white light, at the heart of creation. And we are just spherical beings here. We have no form we project that looks human here. Just the Atma. And then you recognize instantly that there is a communication between the white core of this presence, which is not an individual, and you. And the energy that makes up the white core of your being is identical to Source or Prime Creator. And then you hear its voice, deep baritone voice, humming energy all around, high note of a flute, orchestras beyond anything on earth. And it speaks with an almost celestial feminine nature. I can't explain it. And it says, "Welcome home, travelers. You have returned again. Finally. You cannot stay here long unless you dwell here full time with no lower bodies, or your body forms in lower worlds would perish." And then you realize that it is making the core of your being a little brighter. The next instant, we find ourselves around Tyrellian at the bottom of the void below the Atma plane, just about to cross an aurora borealis type of energy field. And we pass through it. We're instantly hovering in the upper end of the etheric plane, below the void. You see massive continent-sized glowing lands. You can't even say it's a planet. There are thousands of them. And you suddenly realize that you're standing on one of these continents looking at these transparent golden steps leading up to a palatial estate. More massive, transparent than anything on earth. And you're standing on the steps with your eyes closed in an etheric body. Transparent, perfect. This is not the body form you show each other. That is a prototype before this. And then Satnam and Tyrellian appear standing beside this body. They send a blue energy into it and wake it up. They compel it to look up to see into the void, Satnam's realm, the U Expansion Ray Academy, and all the way to Source. Then they compel it to look down. And they see the mental body standing on steps, well dressed with its eyes closed. And then suddenly we're in the mental plane. And you are standing on one of 80,000 continents. These are bigger than whole planetary systems, whole galaxies. And you have a palatial estate around you here. They're more solid looking than in the etheric plane. And although your body is radiating light here, it looks physical. Standing on blue stone steps. Torelli and Satnam appear beside it and kick its little butt with a blue energy beam. Wake it up and compel it to look up to see the etheric body looking down on it. They smile at each other for the first time. Then they compel it to look down and see the causal body. And it's standing on a white semicircular disc of stone, like a balcony, on the outside of 3 clear domed, triangular positioned home complex on a tropical island, one of hundreds of thousands of them. And the very highest level of the causal plane. You're sitting down with a cup of tea. Some of you are standing by the rails of a balcony. On a beach. The beach is luminous, blue sand, blue-green ocean, calm, luminous. You hear the sound of a deep humming, the high ringing of a single bell. The sound of running water like going over stones in a brook. And then Torelli and Satnam appear beside each one of you, each in a different one of these locations. They compel it to open its eyes and look up to see the mental body. They look down and see the astral body, standing somewhere else with eyes closed. And then we're in the astral plane where all emotion is generated. The mental plane, all thought, instantly projects matter. In the astral plane, emotion moves all matter. And you are standing on the shore of luminous summer green, gold, yellow, red sands, blue oceans, golden oceans, all kinds of oceans. And you're standing by jungle trees more massive than the giant redwoods on Earth. Big domes in the distance you can see over the tops of the trees. And you're each one of you standing on this charged luminous sand. You're asleep. Well dressed. Emotions balanced. And Satnam and Torellian appear beside you and kick you awake. You're compelled to look up to see the causal body, and then you're compelled to look down. You're given the ability to see the physical body back on Earth, sitting or sleeping or lying down where it is. You can see yourself hovering near the ceiling, the Galactic Alliance couple beside you, the energy moving through the ceiling from this strip, through your sleeping body, out through the walls of your home, and then you're hovering near the ceiling where we started the journey. The Galactic Alliance couple beside you, this is actually the Atma, but it's the physical form that looks perfect like you're showing them, smiles at you, and they vanish. The energy moves through you for your benefit. You can see an electromagnetic field, spherical, coming out the base of your spine, sitting there, going in the top of your head in a big circular, like it does around the Earth or around the galaxy itself. Same hue energy. And then it continues through the wall of your home and out into atmosphere, charging it on its way to 3 pyramids that are stationed on Earth now, not made of matter. It's never happened before. You could see them if you saw them on the bottom of the ocean, but you couldn't do anything to them. Weapons wouldn't affect them. Nothing at all. And you can see through the walls of the one at the bottom of the Atlantic, the one at the bottom of the Pacific, and the one stationed in a hollowed-out interior of a mountain in the Himalayas. They have a fountain with Satnam's statue in it. This energy is flowing through his open palms, filling this bowl, and then it's beamed out through the walls of the pyramid, going back out of Earth's atmosphere. All 3 beams converge into one, and then they're beamed to a much bigger pyramid stationed between two stable asteroids in the asteroid field that circles in the orbit of what was a planet long ago between Mars and Jupiter. That asteroid field orbits the sun like a planet once did. Maldek was blown up. Now, a beam from the fountain that's in that pyramid is sent right to the core of the Milky Way galaxy, hopscotching along individual stars. And pyramids that have been built now manifested between them. It goes into the white core axis of the galaxy, which isn't a black hole, it's a white golden light, and back up to source where we were. And it never stops moving. One way. This is the energy and awareness you're bringing back to your life on Earth that never learned it, couldn't have learned it, as nobody can teach it on Earth. This is something the Atma you are when awake has the ability to do and understand and to know. So we're back now. You can slowly awaken your body and open your eyes. And I'm asking you to turn on your microphones if you're still here. Just gently come back and then turn on your mics, because this journey is not over. We're still in it. It's just the questions and answer part of it, which I don't record. Quite the opposite of the one where I'm guiding people in the Emerald Doorway book. 38 chapters, 38 weekends every Saturday night. This is the awareness you want to bring back to your body on Earth that doesn't know this, can't know it. You are the Atma that knows it. You're the one bringing it back to help your body become more enlightened. The one you call Renata and Margaret and Albert and Lee and Scott. Looks like Lee probably went to sleep on this one. That's good. It won't matter. It's not the body that went on the journey, it's you. Looks like you made it through this, Renata. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm here. Mm-hmm.
You made it through. That's fantastic. You all did, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me bring this recording to a close, and we'll call it This Journey Done, but we're still on the journey for little questions and answers for what good it will do for bringing the awareness to your physical life on Earth.